Hi, and welcome back. We have Maria from Los Angeles on the line.
Oh, hi. Thank you
Hi,
so much for taking my call. I would like to ask for a little bit of insight regarding my daughter, Maria, also. And she's on a break from school right now on personal issues. I would like to know if you see her returning and graduating from here. And what else can you tell me about her? She's not in a good place right now.
Well, currently we're talking about fear, so I'm going to ask you, have you spoken to her about what she feels is keeping her from moving forward?
Yes.
And what has she told you at this time?
She cannot let go of the past that she's so used with in order to move forward, and she fears that without this, things will not change.
Right. A lot of us hold on to our past, and the thing is a lot of people tell us to let go of our past, and I find that comment really kind of hard to navigate through. The thing is that our past is definitely a part of us, and for most of us, we've experienced great pain in our past, and also a lot of times our past does actually keep us from moving forward. The thing is, if you can ask her, rather than to try and move past it, it's more like she has to work within it. So it's more of a view of accepting that this is a part of her. And it's not the easiest thing to do, because a lot of times we think, well, that makes me less of who I am. And the thing is it brought her to where she is now. Without the past that she had, she wouldn't be where she is now. So it's almost a point of empowering herself through the way she thinks. So it's not telling herself, oh, just get over it. It's telling herself that, yes, I know this happened to me, and then having enough faith in herself and the world around her to say, but I'm going to try and move forward to the best of my ability. Right away, her ego will jump up and say, no, you can't. No, it's going to go wrong. This failed before, that failed before, it's going to fail again. And the thing is, if we continue to listen to that voice and only that voice, a lot of us do stop. We try and stop life from happening. And you and I both know, Maria, that we can't stop life from happening no matter what. Whether we're going to participate actively in it, it's still going to go on. And it's going to go on around us and including us, whether we want to be included or not. And it takes more effort to check out of life mentally than it does to check back in. And that's why it becomes very overwhelming. She's worried about what might happen, right? What might go wrong. So looking at the things that could go wrong, you have to show yourself, but I didn't get there yet as this person I am now. I've never done this before as the person I am now. So how can I guarantee myself that it's actually going to go wrong? So it's a constant conversation that she has to develop within herself. And yes, it does take practice. It's not that she can wake up tomorrow and feel 1,000,000% and say, oh, I'm ready to conquer the world. No, it's a slow process of, first of all, understanding and talking to herself that, okay, yes, this happened. Yes, it is a part of you, but it's not happening now. Asking herself, what is the worst thing that could happen? Like, what's the worst possible thing she can think of going wrong? And then allowing herself to think of different solutions, right? Because we all have solutions. What has she told you is her biggest fear so far? Has she talked to you about that?
That her life will not go on the path that she is wishing to fulfill, to get on her feet, to get a good job, to finish school and all that. Right.
But the thing is, she is taking the steps, right, to work towards that, right?
Yes.
And that's what you have to keep reminding her. But look, you're working with the solutions that you have right now, and that's all you can do. It's very hard for us to jump years in advance and say, well, I will get here. And a lot of times when we hold on to just the goal, and she says, okay, my goal is to be successful and have the life that I wanted, but yet if we don't support ourselves on that path, the goal becomes obsolete. So if she can say in her mind, okay, I'm working towards this goal, So I'm going to take and then focus on each step that it takes to get there. Then if something comes up, a twist or a turn or an unexpected event, we don't read it as failure right away. Because the first thing we often do is say, well, I didn't reach my goal, so I failed. Again, forgetting to give ourselves credit for where we are, what we've actually made it through, and looking at the twist or turn that came up as a gift, we see it as a roadblock. And it makes it harder to navigate through it because we're already telling ourselves we did something wrong and that we failed. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I work with her on that. She seemed to have a good grasp of the concept, but implementing it and practicing, like you said, takes a little bit longer.
Right. The other thing, Marie, that works for a lot of people is constant journaling. It's constantly talking to ourselves, but a lot of people, because our thoughts get so big and so loud, it's easier to write it down. So even on a daily basis, she can write down, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think I'm going to succeed at the level I want to succeed at. And then if she also writes down the other things of, I believe in myself, I support myself, I have enough faith to know that in my life things will turn out the way that they're meant to, and I trust that that will be the best for me. If she can start adding in those types of words and writing different things down makes us listen to ourselves, and it takes it out of our head so we can actually step back from the situation. Because, when you're in it, it seems so big and all-encompassing and all around you, right? But if you take a step back when you're writing it down and write down the things, it takes them to a level that shows us they're manageable. And it also shows us solutions a lot quicker because we do have our own answers. Alone we do know what we need. It's just being willing to give it to ourselves sometimes we're not very good at that sometimes because we tend to listen to our egos really quickly and just kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, I just can't do this.
Exactly.
Right. So all of us have felt exasperation. I mean, you have. In the past, you've overcome a lot. And the one thing is if you use yourself as an example to your daughter and say, I've done this, I've done that, and I'm still doing that. And a lot of people will say, well, yeah, that's you. But we're all human. We're all equal. And we all have the same ability. It might come out in different ways, but that doesn't mean somebody is less capable or more capable. We just have to find our own capabilities. So if you can use yourself as an example and say specifically, well, when this happened, I felt like this. And remember, we're allowed to feel overwhelmed. We're allowed to feel all of our emotions. And then explain to her how you got past it. And explain to her how even though you still felt defeated, you were able to support yourself and still keep walking. Correct.
And from what you can see clairvoyantly, what can you tell me about this, the school and the graduation?
Right now I see it going fine. I do see all the things that are going on in her head. I do see that there's, it's not so much the school that's the problem. It is the way that she's seeing it, and she does feel that it is quite overwhelming. What is she taking right now?
Art. She's enrolled in a school of art, but she's on a break for a trimester. Planning to go back January.
Good. During the break that she has, the one thing that she needs to do is work to understand. She's kind of turned the light off at the end of her tunnel. Believing, and when we do this, trust me, it's a big deal to ourselves because we tell ourselves we're stuck. We've put ourselves in a box.
Yeah.
If she can show herself that regardless of what happens in school, regardless of whether she finishes or not, it won't be her end. It's actually, there are other options. Whether she likes it or not, there are other options. And if she can show herself the different possibilities, it will turn the light back on at the end of the tunnel that she's turned off. And it will take her out of the box and give her the courage to continue where she's going. And it won't stop her. Because, of course, it's her choice of whether she wants to continue and if she's going to continue backing herself. She's getting into, a trade that unfortunately comes up with a lot of, we get turned down, we get told no.
Yes.
Right. And we have to have the confidence not to take that personally.
Yes.
And we have to have the confidence to say one person's opinion doesn't override the opinion that I have of myself and my abilities. Yes. I'm still capable, and just because this person said no, all the universe is telling me is it's not the right job for me, and there's another opportunity that will suit me better.
Correct.
And of course it's scary. I mean, every new thing we try is overwhelming because it's a new thing, because it's unknown.
Yes.
But at the same time, if she can get through that and past that, you also need to have her realize that it will still always come up, and it just doesn't have to be always the ruling thought in her head.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So if she continues to work on lighting up her light again,
yes,
we will see her graduating. She loves, and she's extremely gifted.
She's very gifted, and that's the whole thing. When we start getting down on ourselves, we forget how incredible we are.
So critical of her talent, in spite of the good grades and scholarship, she's still she doesn't believe how good she is. And
right, and the thing is that she's allowed to be critical.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, can you hold the line, and we'll get back right after this break and continue this conversation?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Excellent, thank you.